Harvard's Kenneth Rogoff. I wasn't wrong on Bitcoin. The world was. When a decade-old $100 call ages badly, is shifting blame to really, itself the new academic hedge.
The cope is real, right?
That was some strong cope.
Strong cope. And I think, what people have to realize is all of these academic economists or economists working at the Fed or economists working at the BIS or you name the IMF, you name the organization, right? They're all paid and have all built their wealth and credentials off ignoring reality and just looking at the academic models and then coming up with spin to justify the models. Dr. Werner, the economist who wrote Princes of the Yen, Richard Werner, he went against the whole system, called them all out, and he got shunned. Right. There's no money in speaking truth to power.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that was just all ego for that professor?
No, I think that's his incentive. Show me someone's incentive, and I'll whatever that saying is.
Yeah, and I'll show you the outcomes.
That's his incentive. Like he has no incentive to go do a serious, deep dive, realistic, analysis of Bitcoin versus any other form of money. His only incentive is to support the dollar system, the economic system, the academic models that got him to where he is.
Right.
To say, for somebody like that to say, oh my God, I was wrong. Everything I've learned was wrong. And we need to go all in on Bitcoin.
And basically said everyone else is wrong.
Career over. So these guys are never going to agree with us.
That was some serious cope.
All right. Trump says he's removing Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, citing his administration's allegations of mortgage fraud. Good move for Trump?
I had a good move for Trump. That's a good question. Maybe a good move for Trump, I guess. He wants to lower rates. And I don't even think that this is about lowering rates.
I don't think so either anymore.
I think he wants to destroy the Fed.
Yeah.
And I think that's his job for the New World Order, is to take the Fed down and to just have a massive fight in public and have the country talk about the Fed. And he's bringing up this notion of we're paying ourselves. The money we could save if they would just lower our damn rates.
Right. This is what he does, right? He goes into any system, creates chaos, creates a fight, and out of that drops all this truth and reality that then the public makes the decision. Like, why do we have the Fed? Why are they doing this? Why are they inept?
But do you think he's doing it, or do you think someone tapped him on the shoulder and it's like, your job is to destroy the Fed?
No, I think it's totally Trump's personality.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the bringer of chaos. That's who he is. And he creates chaos. And then in that chaos, he restructures things and tries to find opportunities.
And do you think he has a long-term game plan?
No, I don't think he does.
Because I mean, you're tinkering with the United States of America.
He's like that New Yorker who was like, "This is a scam,"
and he just
goes after it.
And he's just allowed to.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean, so he's,
So he just talks about taking over Canada, Greenland, and you think this is all just him waking up in the morning angry?
No,
chaos.
No,
not angry, but
it's just his personality. He's the bringer of chaos.
Yeah, but I got to figure there's an agenda being crafted somewhere. It seems cohesive.
I think the agenda is you can't fix anything until it's broken, and he's the master of breaking shit.
Sure.
And so at the end of his term, we will have a broken system, and we can start rebuilding something better. But nothing's ever going to change until it's broken.
Yeah.
That's the way.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Relay abandons Lightning. Is this justified?
Okay, so if you read up on the thread, what he ends up finally admitting is that it was hard to get customers to use self-custody
Yes.
Lightning.
Yes.
Because they had to basically run a node. They had to create Lightning wallets.
And they just want to stack sats.
Now you go ahead and look at Cash App and look at Strike, who make it indiscernible to the user. If the user has a small transaction, it goes over Lightning. If they have a big transaction, it's going over main chain. But the user is getting instant settlement, instant Bitcoin, fully custodied. They have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. So in those instances, they're using Lightning to deliver a user experience, and they're having a lot of Lightning usage. So it's purely a problem from how the way they were presenting the usage of Lightning.
Is it like, yeah, but is it custodial Lightning usage here and self-custody on-chain Bitcoin here?
Yeah, they're two totally different things. What I'm saying is, and what he admitted in that tweet is, yes, like custodial Lightning was a regulatory challenge for Relay, because as we have had to do at Byte, you have to have MTLs in every state. You'd have to do full KYC AML. You have to do transaction. You have to look at the chain. You have to do all these things to meet the regulators' approval. And if you don't want to do that, then you can't deliver a proper user experience on the Lightning network.
Right, which was something they were struggling. They were struggling with that. So I think
the takeaway here for Relay is that it was a heavier lift than they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
But it's not a slam against Lightning.
All right, okay, good to know. All right, next one.
When you understand the Bitcoin network, what you can think is that the Bitcoin mining network 10 years ago was very energy intensive and technology poor. Mm-hmm. There's a time when you were just using off-the-shelf chips, and then you were using GPUs, and then you were using ASIC first generation, and then ASIC next generation. So we're like 5 generations into this now. In the early time frame, think about it, you throw probably 1,000 times, if not 1,000,000 times as much energy to generate a hash.
Right.
And now you're throwing 30 megawatts to generate an exahash, but we'll get to the next generation where it'll be 5 megawatts. And then what happens when we get to 1 megawatt? Well, so as you go out, energy is still important, but it turns out that the network is rotating from energy-intensive security to technology-intensive security.
Right.
Like what if you imagined one day there'll be 10 million mining rigs, but there'll be 7th generation ASICs, and they will be 100 times more efficient than anything we have today. What that means is that 99% of the hash power will come from that generation of mining rigs, which means that all this stuff that we have today becomes 1% of the network, right?
Yeah.
Which means it gets squeezed out of the ecosystem, right? All those miners that are obsolete go out of business. And so that technology intensity has a couple of dynamics. One is that's what keeps the network from consuming all the energy in the world, right? I mean, people say silly things like, oh, well, the energy usage is going to increase with the price. Well, no, it's not. The energy usage maybe will increase with the log of the price. That is, if the price goes up by a factor of 10, energy usage might go up by a factor of 2. And if the price goes up by a factor of 100, energy usage might go up by a factor of 3 or 4. But what you've got is a situation where the halvings are cutting the block reward in half every 4 years. So that's a built-in 5x improvement in efficiency every decade. And then if you crank over that another 10x improvement in hardware, you're talking about a 50 times improvement in tech efficiency in a decade, or 50 times 50 in 20 years. Right? So the price has got to go way.
Interesting.
What do you make of that? I mean, isn't hash rate going up really high? And
Yeah, but I mean that's a really interesting take. I guess that's just implementing Moore's law into better and better chip production, which we haven't really. I mean, we've seen improvements. We haven't seen that level of improvement yet in mining rigs, as far as I'm aware. Although I'm not technically qualified to even make that.
But Jack Dorsey's
statement.
company just released the Proton, I think it's called, the new system.
But from what I understand, there
it's not improving sort of like throughput hash rate, but it's how you deploy the fleet and manage the fleet.
Right. It's improving sort of like the maintenance and operation, but it's not more efficient, from what I understand.
Well, it's going to make your usage of the capital more efficient, and you don't have to change out your whole fleet every time you get new technology and stuff.
But so power as currency. Right, we've always thought of Bitcoin as energy money, right? And it's going up against the AI race now. So the question is, as AI data centers surge, is Bitcoin mining facing its first true competition for cheap energy? And is that what's going to drive this, push for more efficient chip production?
AI, you mean going to?
Yeah.
Quite possibly. I mean, you would think so, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you would think so. No,
but I think that the AI thing, though, I don't know if AI is going to take as much power as they suspect, but I think AI is the push for nuclear.
Yeah.
And so I think that also is going to change a lot about Bitcoin mining when there's that much more power directed at the network. I think nuclear power is a game changer, and I think that they want to make it politically acceptable. And I think AI is sort of the campaign for that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I could see that. Yeah.
And then AI also drives down energy. Nuclear drives down energy costs as maybe jobs get sort of dematerialized through AI as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of what I see there in terms of. But I mean, do you think that Bitcoin miners are going to be competing with AI for power? I mean, you would think Bitcoin miners are competing with everyone for power.
I don't know, because I believe, maybe I'm wrong, AI can accept much higher power prices at this point. And Bitcoin miners can really search out that off-grid remote power that's far away from civilization.
Right.
I don't know that AI can do that.
Right. So Bitcoin's always competing for cheaper power and competing with everyone for power.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to where it's cheapest. I think AI has got a different calculation between, yes, cheap is great, but I also need to be near usage. So I need to respond quickly, etc.
All right. Let's jump to the next one. IRS crypto chief quits.
Mm-hmm.
What does this resignation actually mean, if anything, for Bitcoin tax enforcement?
I don't think it means anything. She's taken a public sector or private sector job, and going to be advising people on how to pay their crypto taxes, or filing crypto taxes. So I don't think that this really changes anything. I think the 1099-D, the digital 1099 for digital assets, I think that's really important. And that's
what is that? I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, so just like broker dealers have to send you a 1099 for your stock trades.
Sure.
Crypto exchanges this year will have to send you a 1099-D, DIV. I don't know the exact letters behind there. I know
transactions with your crypto. With your Bitcoin.
So you've got cost basis, and you get a 1099 report. Now, that's only for these like exchanges where you're doing buying and selling on the exchange. If you've got like a transaction where you're just selling, you might get just a report that says you sold at this, exactly. And then you got to still pull them all together. Right. So
100%.
I mean, we don't have this like, broker dealer like, oh, we'll just send the cost basis to the other exchange. We don't have that.
Right.
But it's heading in that direction, it seems like.
Yeah, that would make sense. All right, let's go to the next one.
El Salvador has officially banned the Edgar haircut in its public schools. The country's new Minister of Education requires each student to have a clean uniform, formal haircut, mandatory greeting of teachers and principal upon entering the school. Do El Salvador's school grooming bans signal creeping authoritarianism? Red flag or nothing burger?
I mean, both. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's a
both,
haircut, but like it does seem authoritarian and creepy. What's weird is I thought that would be the acceptable haircut. I thought that would be the
I
the
just see
state
how,
haircut. It is terrible, but it's very like just I don't know. It's
I-
kind of clean, I guess, in some way.
I saw some.
It's like the bowl cut, like Mo.
I saw some remarks that said that like actually that haircut was like the
The
haircut
gang or
of
something.
the gangs. So,
that- right,
I
it's
could
a
understand
symbolism.
that. I mean, this is really no different than going.
So that changes a lot
This is
of
no
the
different
color
than going
of
to
it.
private school, right? Like
Right,
I went to
yeah.
private school. I had a uniform. I had mandatory dress code. I couldn't have
Sure, but I kind of
certain shoes on, etc.
don't like the idea of centralized dictation
Yeah.
on certain things, but
I mean,
that seems to go with
you
the
know,
plan in El Salvador is to get all symbolism of gangs out of the culture.
Yes. And my initial reaction was like, this is authoritarian. And then other people said, this does actually kind of level the playing field when you're trying to like elevate a whole country out of, and you have a few haves and a lot of have-nots. If the kids all look the same at school, but I don't know how realistic that is.
Well, at least they didn't say all kids have to get the same
In
haircut.
Spanish culture, like you just get the kid's name and you know their entire family history, right? In Latin America. So I don't know, other than
I guess kids just can't pay homage to the gangs with their haircut.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
All right, let's move on.
Probably not the right people to ask.
Record options expiration, 13.8 billion. Could this huge expiration trigger a sudden market move?
Yeah, sure. What do you want me to say? I mean, yes.
When is the test?
Options expiration could be volatile.
Seems like every CME gap gets filled.
Right. I mean, but again, it's just trader games. I don't think it changes the trend. The trend is driven in Bitcoin is driven by liquidity and macroeconomics. So I don't think like an options expiration like kills a bull run.
But it does seem like Bitcoin's trading like a meme stock. And
how do you say that?
It just seems like all longs build up, the market makers just sort of short, just dump on them.
Yeah,
vice versa.
It's like a mature market. It's not a meme stock.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just seems like it's not moving on fundamentals. No one's talking about fundamentals or running the numbers.
So what are the Bitcoin fundamentals?
21 million.
Okay.
Scarcity.
Yeah.
The block hasn't. Every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
More adoption. Opportunities
more
for
like
adoption.
Bitcoin principles than fundamentals.
Sure. Even fundamentals. Though you think about sort of like the executive order around 401ks, and you think like, okay,
that's political.
More people have access. Sure.
Like Bitcoin fundamentals, I'm thinking is basically global liquidity. What's the cost of money? How much money is in circulation? Is it expanding? Is it contracting? Can you refinance your debt? Like what is the pressure on hedge funds, market makers? What is the pressure on their collateral? Like, do they have the ability to lever their collateral and take more risk?
Right.
Those are, I think, the fundamentals that really drive Bitcoin.
Fair enough. A little too smart for me.
Armstrong's 1 million Bitcoin call. Is Brian Armstrong turning orange or still playing
he's still playing both sides. He's really good at that.
When Martin
he's a
Armstrong.
long-standing CEO now. It's been interesting that he's lasted this long with Coinbase.
He's like Jeff Bezos Jr.
From founder till now. That's kind of, you gotta give him some credit for that.
No doubt.
I don't like his whole attitude for Bitcoin. I don't think he's been like. I think he's played both sides a lot. I don't like what he does with the site.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, but the guy's been successful. But I'm waiting for Martin Armstrong to say they're going to get.
Who would take over? I would want to see how that would
take over from him.
Yeah,
I'm sure Coinbase. So they have to be grooming somebody.
I'd like to know who they're thinking about. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one.
It's your question, big guy.
Banks push Basel to ease Bitcoin rules. What pain points still keep banks from fully embracing Bitcoin?
So these Basel rules are that if you're custodying a Bitcoin, you have to have that Bitcoin value backed in dollars. So full reserve in dollars. And So that's obviously flies in the face of the big banking business model.
Right.
So the banks hate this. As a Bitcoiner, I'm kind of like, yeah,
right. No
it
more
should be
fractional
fully
reserves,
reserved.
right?
If you want to fully reserve it, like
Yeah, but fully reserved
like
with dollars.
Custodia Bank or like other custodians that have very strong security and very strong insurance policies and multi-signature mechanisms in place. If you're going to technically secure the Bitcoin, then you don't need to have dollar backing, right? You're just securing the Bitcoin and you got insurance to cover your mistakes. But banks are still working on 1980s technology. So like, I actually agree with the BIS on this. Like, these suckers should not be custodying Bitcoin yet. They don't even know how to protect passwords or put 2FA on logins. So they are so unprepared to be playing with Bitcoin technology that I actually agree with the Bank of International Settlements. Good job, guys.
Hey, that's an odd one. There you go. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, the Ukraine bill would let National Bank, I guess the Ukraine National Bank, hold Bitcoin reserves. Is Ukraine formalizing Bitcoin reserves to anchor post-war sovereignty or to signal alignment with U.S. monetary strategy?
So a lot of this regulation was around the taxation of Bitcoin and crypto in the economy, because I don't think it was legal for you to buy and hold this stuff for a while, and they want you to kind of pay your capital gains tax on it and register. But there was a small part where they're trying to figure out, like, maybe an SBR. They have the fourth largest holdings of Bitcoin of any nation.
It kind of says it all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my tinfoil is tingling up here.
Yeah. Well, what's in your tinfoil?
I mean, how much Bitcoin went back and forth between Ukraine and FTX? Quite a bit, right?
Or was it in dollars? I don't know.
I don't know. But if you got a bunch of Bitcoin and you're in Ukraine and you're like, oh man, like, what's going to happen with this war? What's going to happen? Are we, like, whose side are we on? How's this thing all going to play out? Let's make sure we don't lose our Bitcoin. Let's have our Bitcoin held at an institution that's going to survive this wherever we are in the world. I don't know. Like, there may be some ill-gotten Bitcoin out there that they need to be clean.
And you send it to Ukraine? And do you get it back?
Like, do you think that, I don't know, is the Ukraine National Bank like
trustworthy?
Legit?
Right.
Like on the
I do smell corruption with all this sort of trying to figure out where the Bitcoin lands.
Flags, right? I don't know. I know nothing. This is nothing against Ukrainians. Love you.
But it's also the country with like fourth largest Bitcoin holdings, and it's only like 8 billion or something. It's not
that. Sure.
It's
probably in the hands of a few people.
Yeah.
A few oligarchs who like, do I really want to have this stuff held personally? Or do I want to have it held by maybe a national bank that's got the appropriate political ties that it's all going to be good? I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Last one. Size Capital reopens Bitcoin hedge fund after overwhelming demand. Is Richard Byworth emerging as one of the Bitcoin's hottest institutional salesmen after Michael Saylor?
He's really good at talking about Bitcoin. This hedge fund is not like a Bitcoiner fund. This is a fund of funds denominated in Bitcoin. So it's a bunch of crypto strategies, right? It's not like, oh, we're Bitcoin only, right? So having Bitcoin in the name, again, like so many things in the media these days, is irrelevant. Not really what's happening under the hood. So fund of funds, multiple Bitcoin strategies, multiple crypto arbitrage, you name it, going on in there. They're targeting high single-digit returns and they're suppressing volatility. So you're a holder. You now have billions of dollars of Bitcoin. Maybe I'll just move some of my Bitcoin into this fund and get a nice 7% return. Just preserve I still have a non-correlated asset. I have multiple diversification across an industry I believe is going to be here for a long time. So I think, valuable product,
Right.
for the right people, sure.
For people with low cost basis Bitcoin.
For us plebs, just stack Bitcoin and
Cold storage.
cold storage.
Self-custody.